Good morning to you, welcome, it's Talkin Ready here, and I have some news stories regarding the DWP, which you may or may not have seen. These are currently, you can see them on Google, so I've done a quick Google search for some news stories, and there are a couple. So let's have a look at the first of these, which is very interesting. It is regarding the £150, which will be going out shortly. There's a cost of living payment. This will be applying to people like DLA, PIP, attendance allowance, or there is the Scottish version of that. Armed Forces, independent payment, and constant attendant allowance payment. War pension payment. So if I've missed anybody, it means that you're not going to get it if you're not on any of those benefits. Let's have a little look at this story. So obviously the full list of benefits that this will go to, especially if you're on DLA or PIP. This is the £150. It's basically, the story is about a surprise text alert, which I did get one this week. I did get a text alert because I am on PIP. So that means I will be getting the payment shortly, as you will be. So this was dated the 15th of June, so that's 2 days ago, and as you can see, it talks about who's going to get this payment, but it's left some people baffled, as they were either unaware of the payment or didn't believe that they were going to get it. The text message confirms the payment will be paid from June the 20th. Obviously, it's important to realise that a text does not guarantee you being eligible for the payment, nor does it guarantee receiving a text message means that you're going to be excluded when you thought you qualified. So basically, don't rely on a text message and wait for it to go in your bank. That's obviously the message. Just to reiterate, that these are for disability living allowance, personal independent payment, attendance allowance, Scottish benefit, armed forces, attendance allowance, and war pension mobility supplement. So these are the ones that you will get the payment. Disabled people on low incomes in receipt of means tested benefits may have previously been eligible for 301 in the spring, and they obviously stand to get the other payment in the autumn, and also next year in the spring. This £150 payment is made on top of those other, if you do qualify for them, so you allow both. And of course, this is obviously quite seriously coming out very soon. Obviously, the DWP are telling you to be careful if you get a text message. Please realise that it could be a scam. There are lots of scams going around, so just make sure that you double check, triple check that you are. In fact, the best thing is to do is, if you do get a text message, is to just ignore it, delete it, wait for the money to go in your bank, check your bank account via a bank statement or online banking, or go into the branch and check the money's gone into your bank account, because it will be paid automatically if you qualify. There's no argument about that, and obviously if you find later on that you haven't been paid it, then that is the time to find out if you do qualify or if they have not paid you. But this story has been highlighted for some reason. So here we are, the Manchester Evening News. There's a warning over the cost of living message scam, which obviously they're referring to the £150 payment coming out next week for people on PIP and GA. Obviously the DWP specifies that this payment is automatically paid for those people who are qualified for it. So you don't need to worry about it, you don't need to apply for it. And obviously if you receive a message asking you to apply or contact somebody in regard to the payment or log into your bank account, then it's possibly a scam and they're trying to steal your data, so don't do it. If you think you've been targeted, obviously report the website, email, phone number, phone call or text. And there are very certain ways of doing that. You can of course do how to report scam. So if it's an email, you can forward it. If it's a text message, it's 7726, free of charge. And online, you can go to Action Fraud, where you have to set up a complaint report and have a lot of information regarding the actual scam. So yes, please be aware that it's very dangerous to have a text message or an email and not think that it's a scam, because most of them are, and very rarely. I've seen a few that are pretty good, and they are very, very genuine. They look genuine, but when you go, for example, if it's I don't know, if it's a PayPal message saying that you've got money or whatever, you should actually go direct to PayPal, log into your account properly, don't click on any links, and obviously then check to see if you have any money, because I had that once, and somebody was asking to pay me money, which is nice. But when I checked it with PayPal, it was actually fraud. So, and of course they were happy to help me with that. Now, talking about universal credit, there is a new article here that we will have a look at. Disability News Service. So DWP have finally published the Universal Credit Fitness to Work stats. So this is going to be quite an interesting thing, because of all the people that we had join UC from the COVID, they were signed on to UC. Some of them were, some of them couldn't get it. There are 1.9 million Universal Credit WCA work capability decisions had been made by February 2023. That's quite a lot of disabled people claiming universal credit. Of those, there was 16% were found fit for work, 19% were found to have limited capability, and 65% had limited capability and a work-related activity. So, and the equivalent of that is Employment Support Allowance Support Group. So there's obviously for the more seriously disabled people. In April 2019, just 12% of claimants who were put through a WCA were found fit for work. Compare that with now 16%. Those 3 months later, obviously that had risen to 25%. At the height of the second wave of the pandemic in January 2021, just 2.1% of claimants were found fit for work. It's after assessment. The latest monthly figures for February 2023 shows that it is 63.8% of claimants were found to have a limited capability for work-related activity, and 16.9% were fit for work. So that is a hell of a lot of disabled people claiming UC. So the latest figures obviously showing the results, claiming that it shows 65% were placed in the support group and 12% placed in the work-related activity group, and 22% were found fit for work in the 3 months to December 2022. So you see, as is obviously quite important, you do get less on the money if you're on UC compared to other legacy benefits. So very interesting story. I'll try and link that one in the comments. got one more little story for you related to UC. So UC fraud crackdown has boosted to save 9 billion by this is claimed by benefit scroungers. So talking about all those people that were just signified as being unfit for work and claiming UC, we now have this article here saying that there's billions benefit fraud on UC. What does that tell you? It basically tells me that they're blaming the disabled people for claiming wrongly because they're benefit scroungers. So here we are. This is reported by GB News, and obviously there's a crackdown. But please remember that, in fact, benefit fraud is actually quite a small percentage overall. And as they say there, it's provided an update on the fraud plan, which intends to deliver 9 billion savings over the coming years. Didn't say how long that would be. Benefit fraud has fallen by 10% in the first year since it announced new 613 million plan to fight fraud. So they're spending that much money to get rid of fraud, and they're claiming that it's fallen by 10% already. What does that say? I don't know. But they're hiring 1,000 new agents, and this will be specifically to deal with, identify errors, and obviously see that people are claiming properly. But 1,400 investigators, so this is the ones that will, if there is a problem, they will be chasing you. So doing those interviews that we all love and hate. The national rate of fraud and error, it fell to 3.6%. It obviously constitutes a fall from 8.7 billion of overpayments to 8.3 billion in 2023. And of this, overpayments due to fraud were 2.7%, 6.4 billion, compared with 3% in 2022. So obviously that's come down 0.3. So yeah, very interesting. And of course, they're giving it out in one hand, and taking it back in the other. All very interesting. Right, that's it for today. Have a good day. Catch you next time for some more.